The strength begins in the mind, not the muscle. You can train your body until every muscle is carved like stone, but if your thoughts are weak, if your spirit is clouded, that body will crumble at the first true test. The body follows the mind. If the mind is scattered, the body is unsteady. If the mind is fearful, the body retreats. If the mind is defeated, the body will fall before the battle even begins. People look at physical power and think, that is strength. They see someone lift a great weight and think, this man cannot be broken. But the truth is, the easiest thing to break is the flesh. The hardest thing to break is the will. When the mind is clear, decisions are sharp. You do not waste energy in doubt or hesitation. Every movement, every choice becomes deliberate. This is why a calm fighter can face an opponent twice his size and still walk away victorious. The power is not in the arms, not in the legs. It is in the stillness that guides them. Think about fear. Fear does not live in your muscles, it lives in your mind. A strong mind can face fear without being controlled by it. It can feel the emotion but not become it. And when you can stand in the presence of fear without surrendering to it, you will discover a strength that no weightlifting, no training machine, no exercise can ever give you. Likewise, anger can make a man believe he is strong, but anger blinds him. It pushes him into reckless action. A mind that is steady sees the attack coming before it arrives, moves before the enemy moves, and strikes only when it is time. This kind of power cannot be faked. It is built in silence, in discipline, in moments when no one is watching. You must understand, the mind is the master, the body is the servant. If the master is weak, the servant will falter. But when the master is unshakable, the servant moves with precision and power. Strength is not about adding more to the body, it is about removing what weakens the mind. Remove doubt, and you stand taller. Remove fear, and you strike with clarity. Remove hesitation, and your actions become unstoppable. Many spend years polishing the outside while ignoring the inside. But if the foundation is fragile, the building will fall, no matter how beautiful it looks. Build your mind as you would build a fortress, stone by stone, thought by thought, until no storm can penetrate its walls. Then the body will become an extension of that fortress, a tool of your unshakable will. When the mind is strong, the body cannot betray it. True strength is adaptability. Many people mistake being unyielding for being powerful. They think if they refuse to bend, they will not be broken. But look at the trees after a storm. The ones that stand stiff and stubborn are the ones that are torn apart, their branches snapped, their roots exposed. The ones that survive are the ones that bent with the wind, swayed with its force, and then returned to their place when the sky cleared. Flexibility is not weakness. It is the wisdom of survival. Life will not shape itself to your expectations. No matter how strong you believe yourself to be, the world will move in ways you cannot control. There will be changes you do not choose, obstacles you did not prepare for, and forces greater than you can resist. If you meet them with rigidity, you will exhaust yourself trying to hold your ground. But if you adapt, you can redirect those forces and make them work for you. Think of water. It does not resist the rock in its path. It flows around it. It does not fight the shape of its container. It becomes it. Yet over time, it carves through stone and reshapes mountains. Water's strength is not in resisting. It is in yielding without surrender, in moving without losing its nature. This is the same principle you must carry in your life. When you cling too tightly to one way of doing things, you limit yourself. If your identity is built only on one skill, one idea, or one method, the moment that method fails, you are lost. But when you are adaptable, you are never without options. You can change your approach, shift your strategy, and find another way to move forward. Adaptability gives you freedom, and freedom is the essence of strength. In combat, the rigid fighter may look fierce at first, but his movements are predictable. The adaptable fighter learns his opponent's rhythm and changes his own, never allowing himself to be read. He uses the opponent's force against him, turning disadvantage into advantage. In life, it is the same. You must be able to change your stance without losing your balance, to alter your path without losing your direction. Adaptability requires humility. You must be willing to admit that your way is not always the best way, that you can learn from what is around you. That change is not a threat, but an opportunity. A proud man resists change until it destroys him. A wise man embraces it and grows stronger from it. Do not seek to be the hardest thing in the storm. Seek to be the thing that cannot be caught, cannot be held, cannot be broken, because it moves, it flows, it adapts. Power without control is weakness. Many confuse raw force with real strength, but uncontrolled power is like a wild animal, dangerous to everything around it, including the one who possesses it. Imagine a river in full flood, overflowing its banks, tearing apart the land, destroying homes. Yes, it is powerful, but it is also destructive and without purpose. Now picture that same river guided by channels directed through fields, turning the wheels of mills, bringing life to the land. The power is still there, but now it is useful, precise, and unstoppable in the right way. The same is true for the power within you. Anger can give you sudden energy, but without discipline, it turns into reckless action. Confidence can fuel your movement, but without humility, it becomes arrogance that blinds you. Strength in the body is nothing if it is not guided by clarity of mind and steadiness of spirit. Without control, power will betray you at the exact moment you need it most. Control does not mean suppression. It is not about locking your power away or denying your emotions. It is about mastery, knowing how much to give, when to give it, and when to hold back. A skilled swordsman does not swing wildly at every shadow. He waits, he watches, and when the moment comes, his strike is clean and final. That is control. In a fight, an uncontrolled fighter often burns out quickly. His energy explodes in a few moments, and then he is left empty, gasping for air, his mind clouded with frustration. But the one with control measures his effort. He expends only what is necessary, conserving his strength, keeping his movements sharp and deliberate. In life, it is no different. If you allow every challenge to provoke you into full force, you will exhaust yourself long before the true test arrives. Control is not born from fear. It is born from confidence. The person who has control does not need to prove their power. They know they can act when needed, and that knowledge gives them patience. It allows them to choose their battles, to strike with precision, and to walk away when fighting would serve no purpose. Power without control is like carrying a sword that swings itself. It may harm your enemies, but it will harm you just as easily. Real strength is not about how much force you can unleash. It is about how much force you can direct exactly where it needs to go, no more and no less. The strongest person is not the one who can destroy everything in their path. The strongest person is the one who can move with purpose, hold their ground with calm, and unleash their power only when it truly matters. Do not confuse hardness with strength. Many people believe that to be strong, they must always be unyielding, that to show emotion or flexibility is a sign of weakness. But hardness alone is brittle. A stone may seem solid and unbreakable, but one drop of water, falling in the same place over time, will wear it down. It does not happen in an instant, but slowly, patiently, until the stone yields. The lesson is simple. Endurance and persistence outlast brute force. Hardness may give you a momentary advantage, but life is not won in moments alone. Life is a long road, and the challenges you face are not always sudden blows. They are often long, unrelenting tests of patience. If you rely only on force, you will spend your strength quickly. But if you have the resilience to endure, You can outlast storms that seem impossible to survive. When a person is too hard, they refuse to bend, and so the first pressure they cannot match will break them. This is why many who appear strong on the outside collapse when life tests them deeply. They have built an image of strength, not the reality of it. Real strength is not about resisting everything. It is about lasting through anything. Think of a tree in the wind. A rigid, dry branch will snap under sudden force, but a living branch bends and sways, returning to its place once the wind passes. The living branch does not resist the wind entirely. It moves with it, trusting that it will return to stillness when the time comes. That is endurance. That is true strength. In the same way, in combat or in life, you must learn to absorb what comes without being destroyed by it. Sometimes, retreating a step allows you to last longer than pushing forward blindly. Sometimes, yielding for a moment gives you the time to gather your energy and strike when it counts. Hardness may feel powerful in the instant, but it is often short-lived. There is also a quiet kind of strength in patience. To wait, to persist, to remain steady while the world throws its weight against you. That is power most people overlook. Impatience is a form of weakness. It demands quick results and immediate victories. Patience trusts the process, knowing that time will wear down even the tallest mountain. So, do not seek to be unbreakable in appearance. Seek instead to be unending in spirit. Let your strength come from your ability to bend without losing your form, to take the blows without shattering, and to keep moving forward, no matter how long the journey. The one who endures is the one who remains standing when all else has fallen. Real strength is invisible to the eye. Many look at the size of a man's muscles and believe they can measure his power. They see a body built like iron and think it must be unshakable. But muscle can be cut, bones can be broken, and bodies can be brought to their knees. The strength that truly decides victory cannot be seen. It lives inside, where the eyes cannot reach. There are people who look ordinary, who may never stand out in a crowd, yet when life strikes them, they do not fall. They face storms without trembling. They carry burdens without complaint. And they move forward even when the weight would crush another. That is strength, and it has nothing to do with appearance. It comes from the spirit, from the will, from the quiet fire that refuses to be put out. Physical strength is important, but it is only a part of the whole. Without the inner strength to guide it, the body will crumble when the test comes. A strong body without a strong heart is like a fortress built on sand. It may look impressive, but the first wave will take it down. Inner strength, however, can stand even when the body grows weak. That is why some can endure sickness, pain, and loss, yet remain unbroken. The strongest person in the room is often the one who does not feel the need to show it. They do not announce their power. They do not intimidate with their presence. Instead, their strength is felt in the calm they carry, in the way they listen when others shout, in the way they act only when necessary. They are steady when others are shaking. They are composed when others are panicking. That is the kind of power that cannot be faked. Real strength is also the ability to rise again after being broken. Not once, not twice, but as many times as life demands. Anyone can be strong when everything is going well. The test comes when you are stripped of comfort, when you have nothing left but yourself. If you can stand again in that moment, you are stronger than the one who never fell. Do not be fooled by the noise of false strength. Loud words, violent displays, and constant need for recognition often come from insecurity. True strength is quiet because it does not need validation. It exists whether anyone notices or not. The strength that wins in the end is the one that endures without needing to be seen, the one that carries on long after appearances have faded, the one that remains steady when all else has been shaken away. Strength is the ability to remain centered under pressure. When the world pushes against you, when noise surrounds you, when chaos tries to pull you in every direction, the one who holds their center will not be moved. A storm cannot uproot a tree with deep roots, no matter how fierce the wind. The same is true for you. If your roots are deep within yourself, nothing outside can truly shake you. Pressure reveals the truth of a person. It strips away the mask and shows what is really inside. Some crumble when the weight comes down on them. They lose control, they panic, they lash out without thought. Others grow sharper and calmer, even as the pressure increases. They are not immune to fear or doubt, but they do not allow those feelings to control their actions. Their center holds. To be centered is not to be motionless. It is to move with purpose, without losing balance. A fighter who loses his center becomes vulnerable to every strike, every push. But one who stays rooted in his stance can absorb the attack, redirect it, and strike back at the right moment. In life, you will face blows you cannot predict. Loss, betrayal, sudden change. Without a center, you will be swept away. With it, you can endure, adjust, and continue forward. Your center is built from self-awareness. You must know who you are, what you stand for, and what matters to you most. Without this, the opinions of others will sway you. The moment the crowd turns against you, you will follow them out of fear. But if you are anchored in your principles, no voice outside yourself can dictate your path. Calmness under pressure is not a gift. It is a skill. It is trained by putting yourself in situations where you must breathe through the tension, where you must think clearly despite the weight on your shoulders. The more you practice, the less the chaos outside can touch the peace inside. You stop reacting to every push and start choosing every movement. The greatest danger under pressure is to be drawn into the storm. If you let the energy of the chaos control you, you will start moving in ways that are not your own. You will swing wildly in the fight, make decisions you regret, and waste your strength on things that do not matter. Remaining centered allows you to act from choice, not from impulse, when the pressure comes. And it will. You must be like the mountain rooted into the earth. Winds may howl, clouds may cover the sun, but you will remain where you stand, unmoved, waiting for the storm to pass. Ego destroys strength. The moment you fight to prove you are strong, you have already given your power away. True strength needs no audience, no applause, no recognition. It is complete within itself. When you act from ego, every move becomes a performance. You stop focusing on what is necessary and start focusing on how you appear. And in that distraction, you make mistakes, you waste energy, and you expose weaknesses you didn't need to show. The ego thrives on comparison. It wants to be better than someone else, stronger than someone else, more feared, more respected. But real strength is not about being above others. It is about mastering yourself. If you spend your life chasing the approval or fear of others, you will always be at their mercy. They will control you without even touching you. A single insult will make you lose your temper. A single doubt will make you question yourself. That is not power. That is slavery to the opinions of others. A man with true strength does not need to shout it. He does not need to crush others to feel tall. He knows who he is, and so the judgments, insults, and challenges of others cannot shake him. The ego is loud because it is fragile. The quieter the strength, the deeper it runs. In combat, a fighter with ego will take unnecessary risks just to prove dominance. He will throw away strategy to show off power. But the wise fighter knows that victory is not always about the most forceful blow. It is about the right blow at the right time. Often the one with ego will be the first to fall because he is fighting for pride, not for purpose. Letting go of ego does not mean letting go of confidence. Confidence is knowing you are capable. Ego is needing everyone else to acknowledge it. Confidence walks into a room without demanding attention. Ego demands to be seen and heard. Confidence acts when needed. Ego acts just to prove it can. If you wish to be truly strong, your actions must serve necessity, not vanity. You must be willing to walk away from battles that are meaningless, no matter how loudly your ego screams for you to stay. Sometimes the greatest show of strength is to do nothing at all, to remain still, while others are consumed by the need to prove themselves. When you act without ego, every movement becomes sharper, every decision becomes cleaner. You are no longer swayed by the fear of looking weak, or the desire to appear strong. You simply do what must be done. Strength is not in showing the world you cannot be broken. Strength is in knowing you do not need to. Strength is to live fully, without fear of loss. Most people live holding back, guarding themselves, afraid to give too much, to love too deeply, to commit too fully, because they are afraid of what will happen if it is taken away. They believe this caution keeps them safe, but in truth, it keeps them from truly living. When you live in fear of loss, you have already lost the freedom to experience life in its fullness. Everything you have, your possessions, your relationships, even your own body, will one day be gone. This is not a reason to hold back. It is the very reason to give yourself completely to the moment. When you accept that nothing is permanent, you stop clinging, and in that release you find a deeper kind of strength. You no longer make choices from fear. You make them from truth. A person afraid to lose will hesitate when action is needed. They will step back when they should step forward. But the one who is unafraid to lose moves without hesitation, speaks without regret, and acts with a clarity that cannot be touched by doubt. This is the freedom that comes from letting go. In combat, if you fight while protecting your pride, your reputation, or your image, you are already restricted. You are calculating how to win without risking those things, and in doing so, you limit your movements. But when you have nothing to protect except the truth of the moment, you fight with complete freedom. You take the openings as they come, you adapt without hesitation, and you hold nothing back. In life, it is the same. Fear of loss keeps people in jobs they hate, in relationships that drain them, in habits that slowly destroy them. They choose the comfort of the known over the possibility of the unknown. But real strength is stepping into the unknown with open hands, knowing that even if you lose what you have, you will still stand. This strength is not recklessness. It is not about throwing everything away carelessly. It is about living without the chains of attachment. When you are no longer a prisoner of what you might lose, you are free to give everything you have to what matters most. When you live without fear of loss, you discover that life flows through you more fully. You speak more honestly. You love more deeply. You take chances you once avoided. And even when something is taken from you, you are not broken. You simply keep moving, keep living, keep giving. The one who is free from the fear of loss cannot be controlled, cannot be intimidated, and cannot be stopped.